What's up guys and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to show you some new Hugging Face spaces that were released in the past week or two, and there are some crazy ones, so make sure to watch through the video. Without further ado, let's begin. So first things first, I don't know how familiar you are with the vision computer and vision language models in the AI space, but basically Lava was considered the undisputed champion for this. And the idea here is quite simple. You basically take an image, you throw it at the AI model, and the model returns you data about the image, right? So you can ask it, what am I seeing? What text is on this screen? So for example, in this case, it returns the title of this book, which is The Little Book of Deep Learning, for example, etc., etc. But the only downside here is that Lava is quite large, right? So you can see it requires 7.3 billion parameters or 13.3 billion parameters, which is not a lot, right? We've already seen LLMs with much more parameters, but this is still quite a large amount of parameters. But now Moondream 1 was released, so you can check it out. I'll leave links for this down below. It's also available on Hugging Face. So what I did is basically take this model in the space and test it out. So I asked ChatGPT to tell you all to subscribe, so if you haven't done that yet, make sure to do it now. And I basically prompted the model, and you can see how instantaneous it was. It was actually able to ignore this mistake here in the image generated by ChatGPT. And it basically returns the text as is, which is great, and the implications here can be insanely good, so you can actually check it out. I'll leave a link for this down below. Up next, Meta just released like a week or two ago something called Magnet. So there are a bunch of models here which are already publicly available, open source, well, with some asterisks because this is still Meta, but for the most part these are open source. So Magnet is like a new model for generating music based on text, which is insane, right? Let me know in the comments if you want me to make a video on how to install it locally, but for the meantime you can actually check it out on both GitHub and Hugging Face. And here is an example for what it can actually do. So I asked it to generate some 80s music and electronic music, which is catchy. I prompted the model, it took like 15 seconds to generate a 10 seconds long audio. And this is the first variation, which is kinda meh. So you can actually hear some, let's call it mess ups in the sound, right? So this part here. So you can see how multiple instruments were kinda going one on top of the other. But on the second variation here, it provides two variations by default, by the way. This is insane, right? Listen. Right, so this was actually fluent. There are no mistakes here, no instruments going on top of each other. This is really good, and this is actually publicly available right now on Hugging Face. I'll leave a link down below for this space, as well as for the relevant GitHub URLs, so make sure to check it out. Released by researchers from Georgia Tech, very well-known university. And basically what it does, it receives, like the model that they are working on receives an input, right? The input can be any image that you want, basically. Then it tries to predict based on a depth image, which is basically just the image itself inverted in the colors. It tries to predict how it would look in the 3D version of it, right? So if we're gonna take a look here, they provided a bunch of examples on Hugging Face, and the idea is quite simple. For example, I took an image of a soap, right? So and you get a 3D model which is actually pretty damn close. This actually done quite fast, by the way. It took like 4 or 5 seconds to generate it. It's not perfect, but this is a really cool advancement in this space, especially in the 3D models space. And last things last, this is not an insane model, I just wanted to give it a shout out. Old photo restoration seems to be also available on Hugging Face. You can basically take an old photo if you have one, just provide it to the model and get some sort of a variation of a restored version. This is not great yet, but it has a potential to be great, so I'll keep track on that as well. this was it for today. Kind of a cool advancements in this week. Let me know what you think about this in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.